So, welcome to our daily broadcast about astrology and the soul and what is here for us to learn in this week and to give and to receive. And first, I want to share the cards of this week. So, in each week has a card of the small arcana, which is the 9 cups, and they talk about abundance. And then there's one card we should avoid this week, and this is the card of the Chariot. So we should not move away from this moment in time. And the one thing we should do, we should land at the land. We should land and incorporate in this moment, stay in the body, stay in the abundance of earth, of the goddess, and receive in order to give. And when we are in the flow of receiving and giving, we're doing the same thing as the creator is doing for us. He experienced himself by giving himself away. And when we're doing the same thing, we are free. And we are even in a place of much more abundance than we normally are, because we, as human beings, we think we have to hold on to the things we have, to ideas, to things, because we think there's not enough. And we define ourselves with our own ideas, with our opinions. And our opinions are just opinions, and every person in the world has a different opinion. So it's very unlikely that our own opinions are true and the ones of all the other people on the earth are wrong. So in other words, to be loose and to be fluid and be in open awareness and let everything flow, ideas, everything, and hold on to nothing. And to have the trust that everything will be given each new moment fresh, because the creator creates everything new. This is the action and the leap of faith we are asked to do in this week and in our life. This is the life where Venus comes back. So we see the other side, the earth, but also the spirit, the emotions, the aliveness. So it's time to become alive again and to serve the energies of the universe in a more vivid way. So, Francesco, what do you have to say about this week? What are the stars telling us?
Yeah, this is like actually very aligned with what the astrology is telling us for this week, which is beautiful. And yeah, the message is to be certain, to give space to ourselves for certainty, because it's no time for doubts. And this is a bit in line with what you say. I've prepared the a chart reading for this, the chart, a graphic chart of this week. So starting from Monday, and then we go all the way to the whole week, and it's as we can see, things are not changing in terms of like the main energy is still the square between Saturn and Uranus. It's gonna be there for a while, and that's always the challenge between the old and the new. But as we see that things are changing, are settling, we are getting used to this understanding that we need the wisdom to interpret the future. We cannot give space to the new if we don't understand what the lesson from the past. And this is still going on, but we understanding from different level. So we see the start of the week with this full moon in Virgo, which give us like a lot of emotion. Everybody experienced during this last weekend a a very opening in terms of emotion. We were open to our friends, we were open to our family, we were open to our self acceptance of love in a very different way. And everybody's been experienced this in a different way, of course. Like some more sensible people, they experience more need of sharing and receiving, other a little bit less. But most probably people that are looking, they are watching our our video, they know exactly what we are talking about. Um, so during the week we're gonna see no many changes, but like we're gonna have a movement in Mars that is gonna happen between the 3rd and the 4th of March, and the moon, of course, is gonna go around. So we're gonna start this week with the moon in Libra, which give us like an understanding of living in the present.
Mm.
We have like a feeling that we have to be connected with what we are doing right now, and this is going to stay for a couple of days, obviously. And then let's see if we can, if I can. Okay, so this we see how the chart is changing, right? So, and we see the on the in on Wednesday that the moon is moving into Scorpio. So moving moon into Scorpio, it creates like this opposition with Uranus. Right? So this opposition with Uranus, it's um, it's creating this like energy that of a little bit of conflict, but it's not really a conflict in this situation. Like we can talk about radical change, the urge of finding radical changes. But the moon in Scorpio, it's a moon that is telling is a period of time, 2 days that were telling us to be careful about risks, to
Uh,
not overdo things, like to be a little bit more in control. Especially the part of us that are more dedicated to old habits or patterns that are revealing more in a more transparent way. So we're gonna have like the possibility in just a couple of days of understanding the patterns and things that we want to change. We want to change very quickly, but we need to be careful not to change too quickly, especially if this change it creates a risk for us in society or in
mm.
groups or with other people. We don't have to, we need to be careful not to give too much.
Yeah.
Then we, as we say, we see this Mars going into Gemini. So this is going to be very interesting. This is happening on Thursday, on the 4th of March. This is main elements that we all feel. When Mars is going to move from Taurus to Gemini, our mind is going to start to have a lot of ideas. We're going to see a lot of ideas coming into
Mm.
us. We're going to think about new things, and we are going to have like an approach a bit light. Most probably we're going to have a little bit of a sarcasm or irony or humor that is intensify this feeling of edgy kind of
Yeah.
communication. The area of communication will be very much affected because Mars in Gemini gives like a lot of communication power, and with this a little bit witty, a little bit of quirkiness. It's gonna be sarcasm is gonna be there, so we need to be also careful not to be too blunt with our words,
Yeah.
and we're gonna have a desire to change scenery, to change both physically, so with traveling and trips, and also like with our mind, to have a little bit of an adventurous mind. We want to go a little bit here and there also with our mind. We're not gonna take things the way that it used to be. We want to go against the routine. Yeah.
Yeah.
And this is going to be intensified when we're going to go. We're going to have this opposition, you see, between Moon and Mars on Friday. So the weekend will be more and more this urge to go, to be extra adventurous, to not take, to, to, to risk, to take a little bit
Yeah.
of risk. Yeah, and do something that we were not willing to do before, so we're gonna go a little bit more further in that, also in our own ideas.
So
But
Wednesday was be careful, but Friday we can take a risk, you say?
yeah, we can take the risk, but we also need to be careful not others to take advantage of us.
Mm.
This is a little bit the whole week. We are very open. We're coming from an open moon, or with a moon very emotional in Virgo, opening up, understanding and receiving a lot of emotion and love. So this energy of love settles with in Pisces, right? So now we are going into the waning phase of the moon, so we're going like to settle, everything settled down. We understand the sharing, we understand the love, with this all erratic emotion that they were so way above our human possibilities. We touch the divine.
Mm.
Now we are coming back on earth. We are settling,
Yeah.
but in this settling there is also like the tendency to stay still, anchored to those feelings. So we need to be careful not to other people to take advantage of this. We need to kind of create a little shell around us to protect our own self. We
Mm.
cannot be always so open about our own emotions, otherwise
Mm.
people will can hurt us. So we need to be a little bit more careful and but be also a little bit bold and adventure about what we want. And this by the end of the week will be really, really strong, especially on Sunday when the moon is gonna go into Capricorn. That's opening a huge possibility for business.
Uh-huh.
So we can and the idea is that we can learn to let go of things that have changed. So far, we have been learning that there are a lot of things that we wanted to change. We've
Mm.
been able to see that there are part of us that could change, but we didn't make this yet. This change, we didn't make it yet. We are aware, but we didn't commit completely. So from Sunday, the energy, it will give us the power, finally, to let go, to say, to take a distance, to shake the hands to our old me, our old me that is
Yeah.
still here, but now it's time to let it go, to accept the fact that we have changed, to accept the fact that there are things of our own past or our own life that are gone. They're not gonna come back. So it's time to let them go. They're not coming back anymore. We are new people. We are new humanity. And this is the time in which this thing start to feel a little bit more solid.
Ah,
And
wow.
this once we accept this energy, things will move faster. The Another aspect of this week is the Sun sextile with Uranus, and this sextile,
You
which
can
is
show
like,
us, please. Now, can you show with the cursor?
yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, there's the
So
sun. Yeah.
Sun, this is Uranus,
Yeah.
right? These two, and they are in sextile, which means this degree or angle, is a 60 degrees, right?
Yeah.
When it gets degrees, this is called sextile, which is a positive aspect. Yeah. So let's talk a little bit about the aspect. There is like the main aspect are opposition. Opposition are under 80 degrees, and there are hard polarities. Usually they're not completely negative, but they tell us like there is hard polarities. So there are something that needs to be done in a certain way, right?
Mm.
Then the square usually is a bit of tension. Also, like is not a positive element. Is a little bit difficult.
Mm.
Yeah, things they don't flow smoothly. But the trine, which is like under 20 degrees, and sextile, which is 60 degrees, these are positive elements. This means like these two combination are very good. And then there we have conjunction, like this conjunction here. This conjunction, which means like Mercury and Jupiter together, this is very good. It means that everything that comes from communication, Mercury, is a good, positive influences
Yeah.
with our Jupiter that is giving like all this feeling of good optimism and bringing a lot of positive emotion. So communication and emotion are positive, and that's what the conjunction says. Same thing we can say about this conjunction here, this Sun and Venus
Mm.
conjunct is a good fortune for business.
Uh-huh.
And the more we are getting closer, the more positive is for the business. That's
Uh-huh.
why by the end of the week, we're going to have a lot of positive influences for the business. Plus, helped by this moon in Capricorn. Because the moon in Capricorn, it will give us the ability to let go of things in business that we were not able to let go. So brings the perspective of the new on a different level because we learn from the lesson of the past.
So what we have to let go? You mean old ideas?
Old ideas, old patterns, old to let go of things that we know that are changed, but we still like try to grab on them because we got used to, because
Yeah.
we got affectionate to them, right?
Yeah.
And we have to let them go in that way.
Mm. So, okay, so we have to let go things to receive new things, old ideas, old patterns in order to
Yeah,
receive new. Wow.
yeah. That's well. We are helped in this also by the this sextile I was telling you about, the sextile between Uranus and the Sun, and this is a very interesting one because it's like it helps to think about outside of the box. It helps us to make radical changes. So these all influences, they tell me, and because of this proximity between the Sun and Venus, is telling me that this is a business time for make changes in things that we didn't want to let go. So if there is a part of your business that is not working anymore, you know that is not working anymore. Just make this radical change. Let go of that because you know that that doesn't work. So it's time for making space for something new. Innovation, transformation, these are all good and positive, because this is the time that you have to make that changes. You cannot wait, you cannot hold on something that is actually a loss, especially if it takes your time, it takes your effort, and you've been trying to do that for a while. You know that it's not working. What is
Mm.
it, that voice inside of you that tells you to hold on that? Use this energy, helped by Uranus, to make the transformation in your life, to make the transformation in your business, to get advantage of this good fortune, this good moment, this good positive time,
Mm-hmm.
right? So I think this is more or less what the energy of the week are telling us this week. And it's yeah, so we're very happy to receive feedback from our friends that are watching this, and they appreciate and they want us to talk a little bit more about business and stuff like that. So I'm trying to focus on that for them, right?
Yes.
uh, and I'm happy to receive all feedback. We are happy to receive feedback from them, right?
Yeah,
um,
and we're leading people into success, right? Because we know when opportunities arise and when it's time to let go old way of thinking, right, Francesco?
exactly, especially with this with our birth chart reading and the session that we do, the private session that we do, because we that's when we can actually focus on what it matters the most for the person, and to see how these tools can help a person to progress in their life, to make those decisions that are contributor to a life of fulfillment. Sometimes our clients are coming with some problems, some decision to make, and it's very difficult if you don't have these tools to understand what it needs to be done. So our role is to actually support them in doing that, and it's beautiful to see how everything makes more sense, right?
Yeah, and how people can really change when they know with the Enneagram as well, with the typologies, which direction do I really have to go, and am I ready to go there, right?
Yeah, yeah. The enneagram, the astrology, the tarots, they're all tools, and they're all important. And when we combine them, is actually that's the moment in which like a person can have like a 360 degrees, but also some kind of very personalized but very there is a combination that is almost magic. Like when we see that, what we say in astrology is actually very similar to what the Enneagram test says, and that combination, it's really powerful because everything is pointing the finger to the things that need to be transformed.
Yeah.
uh, like the difference between Kabbalistic astrology, the one that I do, and a normal astrology is that I don't look at things as they should be, or point in life in which like, oh, this is gonna happen to you. No, we're not do this. We're talking about transformative astrology. So we're looking at things that your soul came into this life to do, the challenges that you have to
Yeah.
do, and those challenges are possible to change, and that's our help is to be in service for that, to help people to change their life, to make the leap, to trust, to have certainty, to go beyond the confines,
Mm.
right? So we do that, and we see the manifestation of this beauty in life. Like we see how people change and have, they live a life. I don't, you know, that I don't really believe in happiness, but I really believe in fulfillment. Like a life of fulfillment in a life worth lived, and it can happen at any time, at any stage, and the life worth living, like with fulfillment, is a life that spread the word of good everywhere, not just for the self alone, but for the for the sake of the humanity itself, right? And that's the mission, right? Our mission is that.
Beautiful, Francesco. Yeah. So I hope you can open up and you see this. Oh my God, what is my mission? Do I want to find out the mission or more about this? Because you feel it already, but maybe you need encouragement and guidance to do the next step. Because maybe you think, oh, it's not real. This is just daydreaming. But your soul is pushing you in one direction, right?
Yeah, yeah. The soul is pushing in that direction, and I believe in this certainty. Like, so I know that we are talking now to people that they listen exactly what we want to talk about. They understand what we are talking about because they are here doing that. So that's why it's very important to be open to receive the lesson from the light. Then, and we are servant of the light. We cannot change that. Like we all are. It's not just we are not saint. We are just human beings, right? We do our mistakes. We have our own imperfection. We talk sometimes like we with our own accent, with our own like way of doing things. But the moment in which we believe, we have that certainty. That's the guidance of life in life. And once we get that, that's more important than anything.
Yeah. So have when you have your own connection to the creator, to the higher power, the higher self, then you don't need any reading anymore. Then you know each moment what to do or what not to do. And the stars are just reflecting to you what is going on inside, right? They're not making differences or they don't creating change, but they are a reflection of the energy of the universe, right? The stars and the
Absolutely,
sky.
absolutely. That's true. Like I was telling to a student recently that sometimes it's important to, yeah, it is important to study your own birth chart, because you know that's where you when you start to make your first steps, right? But at some point you have to let it go, because if you focus too much on that, then you kind of lose the sense of your life,
Mm.
because otherwise you become obsessed. I don't look at my chart all the time. No, I look the chart for other people because that's very good and it gives me a lot. And then I forget them. It's not that people you cannot forget. I cannot remember everybody. Some people like they think like I remember exactly their sign. It's impossible, right? It's impossible, and it's also not necessary. There is a way that we there is some lesson they need to be learned in time. So now is a very important time to make this transformation, because it's a very specific window of time that we can use this energy in the best way possible. And that's what my advice is, to do birth chart as soon as possible, because this is the time for you. On the other hand, once you know this information, you have to live your life. You cannot just live with this continuous attention to these things,
Yeah.
because otherwise your life is going to be trapped in a self-indulgent process.
Exactly. Yeah, this is important to see that in the New Age movement, what we are a good example of this. But when we forget that we serve a higher power, we become very absorbed and narcissistic, and only circling around our own well-being or well-feeling, right? And we have to be in service that the creative flow has to go outwards, but not as entrapment or self-definition or help others, but also help ourselves and create balance between the inner life and the outer life and the social life and love life, and to nurture ourselves too, because love your neighbor means also as thyself. So this is the balance we have to take, and to be everything lightly. If it's Kabbalah or astrology or tarot or Enneagram, or I'm this type of the Enneagram, I'm this sign of the zodiac, to bear this lightly and be in the present moment, because in the end, there is just a consciousness, and the stars and the world and the body appear in our consciousness, but we share the same consciousness of the Creator. But in this consciousness, everybody has a little different light. So our individuality is not based on star signs or Enneagram type or body or thought system, but it's based on a particular flame which is burning inside of us, a particular light. I have been with the person who died, and she brought me to the heavens and to the place where she went, and I could see that there was a place waiting for her. And only when she entered this place and filled in, made heaven whole again by coming home, I could understand who she was. I needed the whole of creation to understand what this soul was. And this is true for each one of us, that we have a place in heaven waiting for us. And this part of heaven we bring with us wherever we go. So there is a unity, uniqueness in each one of us. And we don't have to defend our limitations, our opinions. This light is forever ours. It cannot be destroyed by the world. And the birth charts just talks about what we have to do in this lifetime, but it doesn't define the inner flame, which is going on forever, right?
Absolutely. Thank you for sharing this, Peter. It's very important. Yeah, we are transitioning, right? We are just like piece of the of one uniqueness, one thing together. So our soul is one, and so we break in pieces, but we can grow back into unity. So this is like, what we're doing, and we keep doing this on and on and on. And it's beautiful to remind like that we are just like we are able to change. That's the most important thing. That's the message I want to give to to the viewers, that it's possible to change. It's possible to transform your life, but you start from your art, right?
Yeah.
It starts from the art. It starts from the ability to share. It's the ability to put yourself out of your confine, out of your comfort zone, out of your forces that they want you repeating over and over and over and over the same thing, because that's the part of the ego, that's the part of like the desire for the self alone, and that's not a way of transforming anything,
Yeah.
unfortunately.
So yeah, thank you for watching. Our service is to break out the pattern of entrapment, of circling like a hamster wheel. Get out of it, make the leap, and discover life in a new way, which is outside of your comfort zone. And how can you grow your awareness of what you already are, and serve yourself and humanity in a totally new and open way. This is the time of change. This is the call for awakening. And we are here for service. So let us know if you want to have a session. We still have some time slots free. And thank you for watching.